Well, my friends, the Gong Show continues. Rescheduling hearings have been delayed by at least 3 months. There's reports saying that it has been canceled. The better word would be delayed. We're going to discuss all of that in this video. I'll give my thoughts and opinions. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, January 14th. I hope you're well. This news broke late yesterday, and it's really taking the sector and investors. It's really not sitting well. This has just been absolute ridiculous. It's corruption at the highest level, and this DEA agency is just making itself look even worse as time goes on. So we'll discuss that in just a moment. Before we do, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. We'll take a look at the MSOS chart here in just a moment as well. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on that. There is some bearish continuation patterns that could potentially bring us lower. And this has been something I've been warning about for a while now. And I even mentioned it in my video of Canopy Growth yesterday. I brought up the MSOS and CGC chart, and I said that we should see another leg down. And the saying has never been more true. Has never been more true. I said in this video that basically the chart damage on CGC has set us back about 3 months, and then sure enough, right after I posted that video, I saw this article: DEA judge cancels MJ rescheduling hearings amid legal challenges, pushing reform back for at least 3 months. That's exactly what I said in this video, that it's going to be at least 3 or 4 months before the charts really start to see some momentum again based on lower lows on the monthly time frame. And then this came out right after that. Literally, you can't make this stuff up. So we'll discuss. We got a couple of articles here from MJ Biz Daily in the business of MJ. They did a great job summarizing it. I want to shout out to Todd Harrison. He shared this. This was the previous DEA judge, Francis Young, and it was from September 6, 1988. MJ in its natural form is one of the safest therapeutically active substances known to man. By any measure of rational analysis, MJ can be safely used within a supervised routine of medical care. It would be unreasonable, arbitrary, and capricious for DEA to continue to stand between those sufferers and the benefits of this substance in light of the evidence in this record. That was from 1988, folks. So as you can see, the DEA is just an awful agency, in my opinion. It's corrupted. It's doing the bidding for, big pharma, big alcohol, big tobacco, by the looks of it. And I have absolutely no respect for these, power hungry bureaucrats who do not care about the people of the country, right? They don't care about the people that this is, affecting, and the people that this is helping as medicine of the future. So things really need to change, and we do have a new administration coming in. So timing has been great here. We have less than a week now. Next Monday, the new administration will be inaugurated, and I think we're going to see a new dawn, a new day, and a complete sea change in this sector. So like I said, we had a couple great summarizations here from MJ Biz Daily, and then we had the business of MJ. So MJ rescheduling process paused indefinitely after judge cancels hearing. So President-elect Donald Trump's choice to lead the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, will wield a heavier hand than expected over the ongoing MJ rescheduling saga after the agency's chief administrative law judge, John Mulrooney, canceled hearings scheduled for next week. Ann Milgram currently holds the role of DEA administrator, but she's likely to be replaced once Trump takes office and appoints a new leader for the DEA. Trump's initial nominee to head the DEA was Chad Chronister, but he abruptly backed out, and the president-elect hasn't identified another choice yet. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Should be some more details coming soon. The DEA has corrupted this hearing. In an email to MJ Biz Daily on Monday, Robert Head, the chair of Hemp for Victory, said only the DEA is to blame for any delay in downgrading MJ's status under federal law from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the CSA, Controlled Substances Act. We owe it to the veterans who overdosed and committed suicide. We owe it to the people of this country to call out this corruption. If this new administration is really concerned about rooting out corruption, they should look into why the DEA is afraid of reclassifying MJ to Schedule 3, and I don't think it has to do with public safety. So those are some some strong accusations, but I would agree. I think most of us would. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts and opinions on this. And this was a great article here from Business of MJ. Shout out to them. MJ rescheduling hearing delayed amid escalation of tensions between the DEA and other witnesses. So there's been strong, evidence that the DEA has been conspiring with anti-prohibitionists, like anti groups that like Sam Smart approach to MJ. They're conspiring with them to go against it, and it's just sickening, really, at the end of the day. But the highly anticipated hearings on MJ rescheduling, set to begin next week, have now been canceled in a major escalation of tensions between the DEA and other witnesses. So, Law Judge John Mulrooney yesterday ruled that the upcoming hearing would be canceled indefinitely, making room for the appeal to remove the DEA from the process amid increasing allegations of bias. So they've been saying that they've been against it. Last week, Business of MJ reported that attorneys representing Village Farms and Hemp for Victory had submitted fresh evidence that suggests the DEA has actively worked against the proposed rule change by using outdated and legally rejected criteria to undermine MJ medical and scientific value. Amid further allegations that the DEA has conducted inappropriate communication with anti-MJ groups and had refused to honor a number of Judge Mulrooney's demands, the companies requested that Mulrooney allow them to file an appeal to the administrator should no action be taken. Mulrooney rejected calls to remove the DEA. As the proponent of the rescheduling proposal, he strongly criticized the agency's actions. He described their handling of the procedural rules as puzzling and grotesque, and highlighted their failure to comply with directives, including a refusal to submit hard copies of public comments as evidence. The judge also acknowledged serious concerns about allegations that the DEA officials collaborated with anti-rescheduling witnesses, describing the revelations as disturbing and embarrassing. Like, this is damning. These are crazy damning words for this agency. However, he stated that these issues, even if substantiated, would not justify removing DEA from the process due to the statutory limitations on this authority. As such, while the DEA has not been removed, Mulrooney granted calls for an appeal to take place because he believes it could help resolve key legal issues now rather than later to avoid greater delays, costs, and unfairness in the MJ rescheduling process. Specifically, the judge acknowledged that the pro-reform participants raised serious concerns about how the DEA handled witness selection and communications, which could impact the fairness and outcome of the hearings. So essentially, they were stacking the anti-groups in the hearings, right? There was barely any pro-MJ, and most of them were anti-MJ legalization and rescheduling. Furthermore, Mulrooney acknowledged that the change in leadership at the DEA due to the incoming administration adds uncertainty to the rescheduling process, which could further impact the timeline and decision making, as a new administrator may have a different approach to MJ policy. This factor contributed to the decision to allow time for the appeal and avoid potentially wasting resources on proceedings that could be affected by the leadership change. The hearings delays follow a series of procedural controversies, including the DEA's mishandling of subpoenas and its refusal to classify its position on the rescheduling proposal. Additionally, excluded parties, including veterans, organizations, and MJ researchers, have petitioned federal courts, arguing their exclusion undermines the fairness of this process. And they've been called arbitrary and capricious. It's a gong show, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So unfortunately, it is what it is. I mentioned in this video that it was probably going to be at least 3 or 4 months before we see any meaningful upside and monthly uptrends, which we need to see across the sector. And in my opinion, I think it's just it's political theater, but it also has to do with the fact that MJ has been in a bear market, and the rest of the crypto, big tech, AI that continues to steal the show. So I think they're just kicking the can down the road, and then eventually, once big tech, crypto, AI tops out, we're going to see MJ really start to benefit and go on a bull run, in my opinion, similar to what happened to Canada when it legalized at the federal level in 2018. But I mentioned this multiple times. I've been talking about this. We had a bear flag on MSOS. We've had bear flags across the sector, not just on MSOS, on a lot of our Canadian names as well. So again, more names that are showing daily bear flags, the more likelihood that we're going to see the whole sector follow suit. And we also had a descending triangle as well. And if you look at the confluence, they both matched up perfectly with 306. So as of right now, it's a triple bottom at 342. 342 is the most important support. That's also the all-time low. After that, we could see it about another 10 to 11% of downside, which would be the 306 target. And yeah, we're we're not looking too good at the moment. We're still below all of our 10-week moving average here and our weekly moving averages, our daily moving averages. And we could see a stochastic and a MACD bear cross over the next few weeks, but overall, it's probably going to be, like I said, at least 3 or 4 months before we really see any momentum change here. Because if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we're dropping to monthly lower lows. We're actually in a monthly downtrend with a lower high and lower low. So now we need to bounce on the monthly, form a higher low and a higher high, which is going to take at least 3 months to do. And it's unfortunate. I think the new administration is going to be favorable for the industry. The more that this gong show continues, this circus continues, we're going to see the likelihood that the new administration may attempt to deschedule, right, and bypass these unelected power-hungry bureaucrats, right, and these agencies that are just so corrupt. And it's really embarrassing, like they said, and work with Congress to get some meaningful reform done. I think the most likely scenario, to quote Erwin Simon, would be that we get legalization of medical, and then in terms of recreational, it'll be left up to each individual state. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. I know it's frustrating. We have to be patient again a little bit longer. But again, the best thing about this is that crypto, big tech, AI looks to be topping out soon. And then I think we're going to see MJ really reap the rewards of that and become one of the most popular sectors going forward. And like I said, with this new pro business, pro common sense, pro the people administration, I think they're going to give the people what they want. Going in it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Hope you have a fantastic day ahead, and we'll see you on the next video.